Capital One Orange Bowl champions. We're going to go ahead and get started with Coach, opening statement.
First, I want to reiterate what a privilege it is to be a part of this Orange Bowl. I mean, the history of this game, the people who have played in this game, the coaches that have coached in this game. I mean, it's unbelievable when you go back, and I was reading that program before the game. It makes you get queasy in your stomach. I've been around some big-time ball a lot, but it makes you realize the history of what goes on here. And the hospitality, the way we were treated, the way they did things. And I told everybody, if we could just come halfway, play half as good as the guys that did our motorcade that gets us in and out all day, I wouldn't even have been a game. But, I mean, those guys, just everything about the Orange Bowl was first class. Everything they did was unbelievable. Like I said, special thanks to our seniors. Not just for what they did this year, but what they've done for 4 years. The fifth-year guys, I believe this is 58 or 59 wins. I can't remember. The 4-year guys, it's 47 wins, almost 12 a year in both regards. And the history, and to go undefeated against both rivals, and win Orange Bowls, win Rose Bowls, win national championships. I mean, that just doesn't happen. And but then the leadership they provided, along with these guys, with Dalvin right here, keeping this team together at the beginning of the year. People kept asking us, what do we have to play for? Well, this is what you got to play for. To be able to make it to an Orange Bowl, even though you don't win a national championship, to make it to an Orange Bowl, to play a game like Michigan, to play in an environment like this, to play in an atmosphere like this. And like we said, anytime you keep score, that's what you got to play for. Anytime we get in that mode, we're going to be around here very long. And that's just a tribute to these guys and the way they kept this young team together. Also, it's important, I think, to see how these young guys, for our young guys, to see how to work, how to come back, how to not reach your goals, take some away, take coaching, take leadership of these seniors and juniors, and take their game higher. Not get a chip on their shoulder and feel like it was something they say, okay, we got to change. That's hard to do. And also how to handle this environment, this atmosphere, to be able not just to practice, to deal with it all week, to deal with the events and all that. It all goes with playing big-time athletics. And you got to learn to be there and do that. And then playing a game like this and come out like this against an opponent like this. It's amazing. As we know, nothing comes easy. Nothing comes easy in anything. We can make it that way. I know that. That goes. But, sitting there watching that, the legacy these seniors left with the youth and the talent on this team, boy, the future looks good. I can't be excited and take a couple of days off. I'll be right back on. And we got a chance to have a good football team for a while. But very proud of these guys, the character, the quality they are, and blessed to be their coach. Questions?
If we can just have you guys speak into the microphone when you're answering questions, we'll take the first question. Back left.
Jimbo, when that kickoff, when Keith fielded that kickoff, is that in that case, do you want him to take a knee and get the ball out, or did you see him hesitate?
He hesitated, but at 1 yard deep, we always bring it out. You know what I'm saying? If he was 3 or 4 yards deep, we wouldn't. We wanted, he could hit it. And I'm gonna tell you, Keith is a guy who I think is going to be a really, really good player. Now, this guy's a really talented guy. He's a young freshman just come along, but sometimes it takes something like that to get you over the hump. That was a big, big time play.
Next question.
Coach Fisher, how much are you going to miss Dalvin now, if and when he leaves? How much are you going to miss him considering what he did today? I know season long.
I was real smart when those one play drives and he makes 3 guys miss and they score, and that's great coaching, great play calling. It is. But, I mean, we all know what he does on the field. What I'm going to miss is this right here. What I'm going to miss is watching him in practice talk to the young guys. What I'm going to miss is in the weight room in the summer when he's working harder, like Demarcus and these guys, his work ethic and his demeanor and the way he changed these guys. And the meetings we had when I would call and say, hey, would you go talk to so-and-so? We gotta get him to do right. Anything I ever asked him to do and the effect he had on his teammates is what I'm truly going to miss.
Coach, you've been saying throughout the year, right here.
Yeah, middle of the room, down the aisle.
You've been saying throughout the year big things were coming from Nyqwan in the future. 2 touchdowns tonight, including that big catch. Talk about what he did.
I mean, I always say this, and I've told him this all the time. He can be whatever he wants to be. He really can. I don't say that about a lot of guys. He has the ability to learn and do that and just keep his poise and composure and the work ethic, which he's learning to do. He is really growing up and playing. And this guy made plays. I mean, you're talking about a 90-something yard touchdown. You're making a catch over, and the guy he made the play on was a pretty well covered, a great throw. He went up and just made a great play, and it shows him what he can be. And I think hopefully what he can be in the future if he will put his nose to the grindstone and take lessons off 44 and 4 right here, keep that same attitude those guys had. He can be set with the same kind of things they have when it's all over with.
Down the aisle in the gray.
Jimbo, right here. Hey, I think of that play when Dalvin, I think it was 71, 72-yard run. I think you had a 3rd and 22 on that play. Just about the momentum, because it seemed like at that point Michigan was kind of getting it back.
All they did, it was a huge play, and what we did, we had a counter. And sometimes when you hit gap runs when they want to blitz on 3rd down, or if they get back in zone, and you could account for everybody on that side of the field in gap runs, because they sometimes will play back, and you hit a gap on a 3rd and long and get him in space. That was as good as any protection we had, and to get the ball in his hands somehow play. To me, that was the play right there that turned the second half for us. That got our momentum going. There's no doubt. We couldn't move because their defense in front was doing great, and we made some mistakes in special teams. I mean, nobody made a mistake. We knew that. You come back from that. The big one too was the clip we got. We'd have had the ball then across midfield with 12 minutes. With 8 minutes to go, up 12 points. That changes everything too, because you may have got some points there. We had a kickoff out of bounds. We had some things in special teams that got us. But that's like this team. We always say what? So what, now what? Move on to the next play. So what, now what? Go on to the next play and handle what you have to handle.
Down the aisle on the great.
For Coach and Deondre, Coach, can you talk about from the first time you saw Deondre in practice to what he just did his freshman year here at the Orange Bowl, and then Deondre, for you, what this first year as a starter at Florida State was like?
There's another guy who likes to grind. I always say that you can tell talent, we have talented players, and you're going to get talented players at Florida State and all the big programs. The difference is the guys that want to be coached, that want to be coached hard, and the ones that want to grind and spend time at the game when you're not around. It's like kids. How do your kids act when you're not watching? To me, that's what the character is. How do you work when the coach is not watching? This guy's a guy, I used to tell him, don't go throw so much after practice. But he spent time in the film room. He wanted to learn the game and not rely on his arm and his feet to be. Those are the gifts God gave him. What he's learned to do is manage the game with his mind, and he still has an unbelievable ceiling to go where he can go. And because he's intelligent, he grinds at it, he learns, he picks things up, and the toughness. That guy right, you talk about a competitor now who laid on the line for his team, and I think that's one of the reasons our team is so tough. When your quarterback's tough, your team's tough, and he is definitely that.
Front row, left side.
Deondre, answer this question.
Can you repeat the question that you had for me, please?
Repeat the question.
Just from your first day at Florida State's campus to completing your first season as a starting quarterback, just how you feel it's gone at Florida State.
It's gone tremendous. Just thank you, Lord, I'm here. I never imagined this. And I'm just so thankful and blessed to have a coach like Coach Fisher. He never let up on me, never gave up on me, always pushed me. Never let me throw a ball bad. Everything has to be perfect. And, that's the way it is. And he's a perfectionist, and he built me into a perfectionist. So my first year at Florida State has been unbelievable. Through the ups and the downs, it's just my team always stuck behind me. Coach Fisher always pushed me, and we just won the Orange Bowl. So I'm blessed.
Now front row, left side.
Demarcus, Brian Shackey, First Coast News. 2 questions. First, when you were at Sandalwood High School, did you ever think that this was possible? And then second question, Jalen Ramsey just tweeted 4 and 44 are the real GOATs, with the GOAT emoji. What does that mean to you guys, that somebody that had so much success in those jerseys saying something like that?
Coming out of high school, I knew this was destined because I had older guys like Marcus Jones, James Darby. They took me under their wing when I first got here. Because I never took a visit, during recruiting here. I've been one time going to my sophomore year. Other than that, you can see what the coaches wanted from us and what the program was built on. And the whole Jalen tweet, being the greatest, whatever you call it, you don't speak for it. You let the people speak for you. When you got people that speak for you, then it's real.
Third row, far right.
Yeah, Dalvin, can you just talk about how meaningful this game is to you, your last game in your hometown? And did anybody ever advise you not to play? Did you ever consider not playing this game?
I still haven't made my decision yet. So, I'm still celebrating my team for this night. But, to be in this game was a childhood dream. Growing up, seeing previous guys playing the Orange Bowl before me was always a childhood dream. To be up here on this podium with these guys and this coach, I'm just blessed to be up here, and I'm just proud to be a part of this group, man. And I'm just proud of everybody that was a part of it.
Did you ever think about not playing in this game?
Not one bit. That whistle get blown, we was gonna be out there.
Back of the room, right side.
Dalvin, Paulo Salazar with WTXL. Can you talk to me a little bit about how you were able to turn it on in this game? You were, just a couple yards shy from breaking a record, and you did that tonight. How did you keep things going?
Well, it was going to be a game of patience. And, we knew what type of defense we was going to face. It was one of the top defenses that we were going to face all year. and they'll pose a different challenge to us. They was big, rangy, experienced guys. So, you know, Coach Fisher did a great job of, you know, knowing when to call plays and get me in the right predicament to make them. And when he called my number, you know, I just answered the bell for him. So, you know, that was all the game plan.
Thanks for the orange, too.
Thanks. You're welcome. You're
We
welcome.
have a microphone in the middle of the room.
Nyqwan, can you talk us through the touchdown catch and the emotions that you felt once you hauled it in?
I mean, coach called the play, and I went out there with a good mindset and executed the play. And without Deondre, good throw, and without the line, I wasn't going to make that catch. So I just thank them guys, and we won on the road.
Jimbo, I got to ask you about this. Second quarter, you had a 4th and 1 in your own end. And I know Dalvin was getting on you to go for it. Did he talk you into it, or how did that all come about?
Yeah, we're here to win the game. We're here to win the game. We're gonna play to win. We thought that we're gonna lay it all on the line. We had a chance. We're gonna be aggressive in calls. We had a chance to win the game. If we didn't make an inch, we didn't deserve to win.
Now I got to follow up on that. If this was a playoff, you'd still would have gone for it then.
We're here to win the game. every game's different.
Left side of the room, third row.
Dalvin, just with everybody with that 71-yard run, everybody was just looking at you in the stadium, kind of in awe. What was that feeling like? What was that like running down the sideline there? And could you believe that you stepped out of bounds there?
I actually think I did step out. But you know, it was 30-22, and it was a play Coach Fisher called that we called all year. But you know, I just feel like I could have took advantage of that moment because you know I just felt like you know guys didn't think I could break out at this point in time, and you know I got an open field with a couple of guys, and you know made them miss, and obviously we made blocks downfield, and I just tried to go the distance and change the scoreboard for my team.
Same side of the room, second row.
Question for Dalvin Cook. Dalvin, we go back in 2009 when you played for the Miami Garden Chargers, which was part of the Orange Bowl. Now, years later, you went undefeated. How does it feel like coming all the way back and playing on the big stage for the Orange Bowl and winning the championship?
You know, he asked me that question because he was my coach back in 2009. He was my head coach. Yeah, I was my head coach back at the Miami Garden Chargers right there.
You were smart with him too, weren't you?
Oh yeah, give me the ball.
So you know, to be like I said, to be sitting up here and you know watching those games with all those guys in the stadium, being a younger guy, a Miami kid, you know, back at this opportunity on this podium at a bigger stage, you know, it's not more that I want than this right here, you know, unbelievable moment, and I'm just glad to be a part of it, man.
Back of the room.
LaneHurtSymbols.com. Demarcus, for this to cap your career at Florida State, what does this mean, the way that the season went, the way this team fought, and then to end your career as Orange Bowl champion?
Well, it's really not about me. It's about this team carrying this over, knowing what it takes to to win, and perfection, and the preparation. We're going into every game next year. I feel like that was one of our weak points of this season, and hopefully they just learn from it. And what's amazing is, back in 2012 they had an Orange Bowl win, and they had ups and downs that season. And look what they did next year. So hopefully they just learn from this season and just never make that mistake again next season.
Front side of the room, front row.
Dalvin, I'm sure NFL is on your mind. Just want to get your thoughts on the Jacksonville Jaguars. What are your thoughts on the Jacksonville Jaguars?
They got some of the greatest that ever played in our program on their team. Jalen, Telvin, Rashad. Some of the greatest that ever been at this program. So I commend those guys for making plays at that team. I think it's a great organization, and they're gonna regroup and get some more guys in the draft to help their team.
Left side of the room, back.
Deondre, can you just talk about now with so many guys coming back, you lose some great players, but you have a lot to look forward to. What are your expectations? What are you looking forward to next year?
Our expectations are high. Just like at the beginning of this season, they were high, and we continue to be high. The seniors and guys that we're losing, it's unfortunate, but that's the way the game goes. But we have a lot of young talent coming back, and this offseason will be very important. Through fourth quarter, spring ball, summer, everything will be very crucial, and we're just going to focus on details and continue to get better.
Back of the room, camera stage.
DeAndre, can you talk about just the offensive line and the offensive performance that you guys had, the journey that you guys had as far as starting the season off, and how you guys ended the season, what you guys learned, as far as what you guys gained as far as the offensive unit, especially the offensive line?
O-line did a tremendous job throughout the season. They've grown up. A lot of guys switching positions, getting in and out, and thanks to Coach Trickett for just always staying on top of them, always coaching them hard, along with Coach Fisher. And I always believed in those 5 guys. Whoever they put out there, I always believed in them, and they always believed in me. And just as an offense, we've just grown up tremendously. We've learned how to play and focus on details, learned how to finish drives, and just all the little things that Coach Fisher harped on in practice. We try to bring those things to the field, and I feel like we've done that.
Right side of the room, second row.
Yeah, this question is for Deondre and Jimbo. What does it say about a guy like Nooney to go up and make that play in a spot like that against a cornerback like that?
Either one.
Either one.
Well,
You Florida State, bro.
that's my little brother right there. I knew Nooney since we was 8, and for him to do that, he's been doing that all his life. Big players make big time plays and big time moments, and that was a big time moment right there. And as soon as that ball left my hand, I knew he was gonna come down with it. I just knew in my heart he was gonna come down with it. And that's just God blessing him with the ability to go up and make that catch. Coach Fisher making a great call in that situation, and we just executed.
But we knew, I've said this before, you've heard me say, he can do and be anything he wants to be. Sometimes I love him, sometimes I want to choke him. I do, but at the same time, I do love, but truly understanding how to be detail oriented, because a receiver has to be so precise without the ball to allow the ball to get there. And as he's learning that, he can be a difference maker for this football team. I mean, because there's not a route he can't run, there's not a catch he can't make, and there's not a thing he can't do. And as he keeps growing, he's going to be a huge part of this team, and it will make this team a different team if he continues to grow and do the things he's capable of doing.
Let's do 2 more questions. Second row on the left.
Coach Jim, there was a lot of comparisons when DeAndre first got on campus to James. And would he be able to fill those shoes? What similarities does he have, but also what does he have that's totally different that you feel he takes advantage of defenses?
I never like to compare players because I think it's truly unfair. It's like comparing your kids. You know what I mean? You can't. They're all different in their own ways, what makes them great. But his uniqueness and his drive and his determination, his arm talent's through the roof. His competitiveness. And I'm going to tell you what, you talk about, everybody's got arm talent. We're in a combine world, okay? We're in a combine world. We want everybody to run, jump, throw, and do all these tests. Well, I'm going to tell you what, when you put pads on, you get hit right in the mouth, all that combine stuff goes out the window. Then you find out who's a football player. You know what I'm saying? The guy's a football player. And what I mean by that, the toughness, the competitiveness, the mental toughness, the grinding, physically, mentally, to keep understanding how to win. There's a difference of playing well and even winning. All right, what's his numbers today? 9 of 27? Everybody said, well, that's a bet. No, he didn't. The throws he made, the moments he made them, when he made them, how he made them, that's championship football. You know what I'm saying? That's why numbers don't tell the story of the kind of players they are. And what he has is true competitiveness, true heart, true toughness. And it reflects, because let me tell you what, you can throw a ball all you want. The object is to get the guys on the team to follow him and want to play for you. That's what a quarterback is. That's what he is. And Jameis has those same qualities, but they do it differently. Different personalities. Jameis was louder, more vocal. He's not. But at times he does with them. He is with them, usually not with me. I mean, he's a quieter demeanor with me. And each guy has to be his own guy. You can't, like I say, each team has its own personality like a child. Each quarterback has to do it in his own way. And he has his own way. But they all have those certain characteristics of toughness, competitiveness, and affect the guys on the team in a positive way no matter what's going on. And the guys believe in them.
One more question. We'll go to the front right here.
Coach Fisher, earlier some of your comments about Dalvin were phrased in the past tense. Do you expect him to be here next year? And also, what do you think would be in his best interest?
I don't know that. We'll get the information and let him make a choice, and we'll also enjoy the Orange Bowl. But, that's a decision. What our job is to get the proper information for him to make the proper choice and support him in anything he does in the way he does, just like we'll always do. He's always part of this family. He'll never not be a part of this family. We want the best for him. But I know one thing. If we get him, we'll be the luckiest team in the world. Whoever drafts him will be the luckiest team in the world. So somebody's going to be happy.
That's it. Thank you.
Like our videos? Then you'll love being a premium member of Warchant.com with exclusive access to breaking news, insight, and analysis from the best on the beat. Enter the promo code WARCHANT30 on our sign-up page and get exclusive premium access for free for the next 30 days. Warchant.com, your ultimate Seminole sports source.